Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's Balance and Stability. I sometimes call it balance and stability, sometimes call it balance and strength. So this is our session where we start seated, we do a warm-up seated, and then we gradually bring ourselves to a standing position. And there's Sam, just come to join us. And we work on our stamina. That's our ability to do everyday activities without getting out of breath. We work on balance and we work on strength. And it's all related to daily activity. So it's about making everyday activities a little bit easier. And the bonuses are that you feel a little bit less stiff when you finish, much more mobile, and you will notice the benefits. So shall we get started? Yes, let's do it. I'm really excited because I don't think I taught this session live last week. And bizarrely enough, I really missed it. I would like to say a real huge welcome to Bella, who's been joining us recently. She's one of our newest recruits. And I know some of the, I'm not going to call you old, some of the guard, okay, are still there. So a hello to Norma and a hello to Sandra. But we will need a dining style chair. So you can see this here. No arms, if possible. If the only chair you've got has got arms, he's scratching, then that's fine. Just do your best with what you've got. The same goes if you find the standing section too much, just do the whole section seated, build your strength, build your stamina, excuse me, till you can. Oh, don't bark at me. Right then, so the other thing we're going to need for this session is one of our stretchy bands. So remember, my email address is sarah with an H .tag TAGG at ceredigion.gov.uk. We have got some stretchy bands left. So if you want to join in and you haven't got one, get in touch with me. Now, if you can, just check your stretchy band for any signs of wear and tear, because they do occasionally, if they get really old, they can snap, and we don't want that happening to you. So it's worth replacing them when they show any signs of wear and tear. Hopefully you've got a drink, but if not, have a drink at the end of the session and make sure you're feeling well. So if you've got a fever or anything like that, no exercise today. Otherwise, shall we start by getting ourselves into the working position? I'm going to turn my chair to the side, only so you can see me. You can carry on facing me. And when we get into our working position, I'm going to sit down by feeling for that chair on the back of my legs. I'm going to make sure I'm evenly placed, and I'm going to lower myself down with control. So we quite often sit a little bit like this. So we use the chair back, and it's there for a reason, isn't it? If we had a stool, we'd be sitting upright, but if there's a back, let's use it. But let's think about, in this hour, this chair becomes an exercise help. So we're going to think about sitting up nice and tall, away from the back of the chair, and if you can, lifting one sitting bone at a time till you come into that front half of the chair. So there's actually a little gap between your back and the chair. Now there's no need, to think, I've got to stay here the whole time. You can come back, have a rest, come back in and join the session. But when we're doing our exercises, we're going to really strengthen these back muscles and these abdominal muscles by doing this. And then the feet is a really interesting one. So bring those feet just underneath the knees. See if you can make sure they're about hip width apart. And then we're going to look straight ahead. So I better turn so I'm facing you. Otherwise, I'll get a funny neck. So I'm going to come back round and I'm in my working position. So just check your feet for me. We tend to do that a little bit or that. So you want to make sure you can feel the balls of the feet and the heels on the floor. And then we're going to create some space between the ribs and the pelvis. Sit up nice and tall. And what should we do to start with? All right, should we start? I like to start head up, head down. So we're going to start with our neck and the shoulders. So let's start with some shoulder rolls. So we're going to circle those shoulders up to the ears and back down. That's brilliant. And this is a really nice thing to do when you wake up in the morning. So I don't know if any of you do what I do, sort of sit on the side of your bed wondering what on earth is going on when I wake up. This is a nice way just to get those shoulders mobile, get them a little bit warmer. And then we're going to relax the shoulders down. Just let those hands rest on your thighs. Now, what we're going to do next is warm up that neck a little bit. Now, you've done this with me before. All we're going to do is slowly but surely drop that chin down to the chest and then slowly bring that chin back up so we're looking straight ahead. I'm just going to turn to show you from this angle. You can stay facing forwards. We're going to gently drop that chin down to the chest. Then lift that head, look straight ahead. Good. I'm going to come back and face you now. So one more time. We're just going to let that chin nice and relaxed, drop forward, and then we're going to turn that chin gently to your right. So as soon as you feel that sort of tightening, bring it back to center. Nice and slow and controlled. Let's go that way again. What we don't want to do is push into that tightening because we might end up pulling something. You might end up hurting yourself. All we're doing is gradually increasing the range, warming up those neck muscles. Good. So we'll come back to center. Let's do one more little chin drop down towards the chest. We're going to lift that head, look straight ahead. Keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. That's it. And then we'll turn that head this way. Good. And back to center. That's it. If you had a pencil in your mouth, you'd be drawing almost a straight line, little curve in it, but it'd be a horizontal line. Lovely. Okay, let's come back. Let's take a little roll of those shoulders again, shall we? And as we lift the shoulders, let's see if we can lift the heels up. That's good. And then relax the shoulders. Let's stay with those heel lifts. So we're just going to lift the heels. That's it. Lift the heels. I was just showing you from that side angle. Lift the heels up. Now we're starting to warm the calf muscles. So I've skipped from the neck and shoulders down to the legs. Okay. And then we'll bring those heels down. Let's see if we can walk these feet a little bit wider. And that's because we're going to be warming up that lower back. And we don't want you sort of toppling. So if we're quite narrow here, you might find you're less stable. So keep those sitting bones on that chair. Make sure this sitting bone stays on the chair. Relax those arms by the side and just gently lift that rib cage out to the hips. Lengthen through the spine. Same on the other way. And the one thing I find really helpful when I do this is to sort of almost breathe out as I come away from center. Doesn't really matter when you breathe, but I just like the feel it gives me. It makes me sort of feel a little bit settled for the session. So I'm going to breathe out, breathe in. Make sure you don't have to go really far. It could be just a small distance. The main thing is we're getting some movement here in this spine. And then we'll leave those feet where they are because we're going to see if we can take one hand onto that opposite knee, come back to center. And the same. So what we're doing is we're getting a little bit of rotation in this spine. Okay. Now, if we've got any bone density issues, so if you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia, you might need to be careful with these twisting movements. This is okay. This is okay because we do this in every day, but we don't want to over exaggerate. So when you bring your arms underneath that chest, just make sure you don't overdo it if you have got any of those bone density issues. Keep the movement small so you've still got some movement there, but not so big that we're putting pressure on that spine. Good. Okay, we'll do one more either side, and then we're going to bring it in. Let those arms swing for me. Oh, let them go. And that's the beauty. If you've got arms on the chair, it's much more challenging to swing the arms. So just relax the shoulders and make those arms nice and floppy. Now we're going to relax the hands on the thighs. I brought my feet back to hip width apart. What we're going to do now is just take some little taps forwards. So I'm just tapping my foot forwards, and you'll notice now there's a little bit of bend and straightening of the knee joint. So this is a great way of warming up the leg muscles, but also the knee joint. So try and make sure that knee bends in line with that second toe, if that makes sense. So keep that nice alignment in the knee joint. Good. Are we okay? Great stuff. I'm very excited about today. It's amazing the difference just having a week away makes, because you're like, oh, I've really missed these guys. Now, bring it in. What we're going to do next is a little bit of hand and wrist. So we're going to make that fist, and then we're going to really open out those fingers. So we're going to bring those fists into the chest, and then we're going to push away. So really stretch out those hands. Bring it in and really push those hands away from center. I'm just going to show you that angle. In and push. Really stretch into those fingernails. In and stretch. Good. In and stretch. Good. We're going to do 2 more. And stretch and in and stretch. Excellent work. Shake it out. Shake it out. Now, let's see if we can just bring the feet ever so slightly forwards so you can lift those toes off the floor. So resting on the heels, we're going to lift those toes off the floor. I'm going to take a little tap. Good. And we're going to make it nice and rhythmic. We're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to slide those feet ever so slightly so they're back underneath the knees. We're going to lift the heels. That's good. I'll just show you from this angle. That's it. Lifting the heels off the floor. We're going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. And then we're going to do that little heel toe action. Heel, toe, heel, toe. See if you can find the same spot on the carpet, okay? Heel and toe. 2 and 1. Let's do the same on this side, shall we? Are we sitting nice and tall still, or have we managed to fall back? So if you can, sit up nice and tall, keep that lovely space, use those core muscles. Brilliant. Last one, and bring it down. Good work. So shall we just move those feet a little bit? Go for a walk on the spot. I'll just show you from this angle. So not lifting those knees so high that you have to sort of sway, just a little bit of movement. So we're getting that blood flowing through the ankles, through the calf muscles, through the thighs. So this sort of movement, really good at stimulating circulation. So if anyone gets swelling around the ankles, or if you get very stiff in the legs, when you're doing your daily activity, try and build a bit of leg movement in maybe every hour. Just a minute, just of getting those legs moving, just like we're doing now. And then we're going to bring it down. Okay, should we think about this upper body a little bit more? Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to think about drawing a circle with this elbow. So this is your right elbow. Imagine I put a pencil in it, and we're going to draw 5 circles. And if you can, make number 4, number 5, maybe a little bit bigger than the first 3. And then we'll change sides. So the first ones are nice and small. And only if it's not painful, we're just going to make the last couple a little bit bigger. That's it. Great stuff. Now, let's see if we can take a little punch. Okay, so we're going to take a punch forwards. And then we're going to see if we can bring those wrists in. We're going to take a punch down by the side of our chair. Do, punch it down, punch it down. That's good. And then we're going to bring it here. We're going to punch it upwards. So we don't have to reach really high, but like we did with the circles, we'll see if we can get each one a little bit higher. Good. And bring it in. Whew. And forwards. Good. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take a little punch to this side. Good. Forwards. And then to your left. Great stuff. And forwards. And then we're going to relax those arms down, roll those shoulders. So you might feel a really nice sort of warmth around the upper body. And that's just those muscles warming up. Great stuff. Now, what we're going to do is just take a couple of little stretches. So we're going to hold on to the back of that chair. So if I show you from this angle, you're going to bring that hand behind you. Don't worry if you can't hold onto the back of the chair. Sit nice and tall, but you can feel this stretch here, can't you? So that's what we're looking for. These get quite tight. So we want to open them up every time we do some exercise. And then we're going to go for a little bit of a walk on the spot. We've got these elbows at a 90-degree angle, and we're walking on the spot. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's see if we can take this foot in front. So if I show you from this angle, we're just taking that foot down, drawing the toe up towards the ceiling. So can you feel a stretch in the back of that straight leg? Yeah. Now, if you gently bring that chest towards the straight leg, not a long way, you'll feel even more of a stretch. So it's just taking you to a little bit more of your range before we start the main section. Come up, bring that foot in. Let's just tap those feet a little bit and we'll do the same on the other side. So taking that heel down, first of all, we're just sitting nice and tall, drawing that toe up to the ceiling, hinging at the hips, and then bringing that chest towards the back of the straight leg. Brilliant. And then bring it back in. So there's no doubt about what my feet are doing today with my daffodil yellow trainers, or as my sons very cruelly put it, custard coloured. I'm not Custard's greatest fan, so that's why it was cruel. So bring it down. Now what we're going to do, our final little stretch, we're going to take this right hand onto the shoulder. We're going to walk that hand over the shoulder. So we're going to reach down that back, give yourself a big pat on the back and release, and we'll shake it out. And then we'll do the same on this side. We're going to walk this hand over that shoulder and then we're release. Great stuff. All right, everybody. We are almost ready to go. So what I'm going to do is practice some of the movements we're going to be doing standing. Oh, the dog's going to bark. I knew it. Come here. We're going to practice some of the movements. He's jealous. He's jealous of you on the TV screen. We're going to practice some of the movements that we're going to use when we're standing. So by doing it now, if you need to sit down, you know what to do in the seated position. Right, I'll just leave Sam there. I've got my feet a little bit wider apart, and all we're going to do is just keep those sitting bones to the floor, but we're just going to transfer the weight from your right sitting bone to your left sitting bone, okay? I know this is quite challenging for you to see, but we'll leave him there, shall we? Better than embarking. Now, if you feel comfortable, as you transfer that weight, we're just going to take the arms side to side. So this is our wide base sway. But the important thing is we don't take the sitting bone off the chair, okay? Because otherwise we could topple. Now, bring those feet back to hip width apart. I'll move over a little bit so you can actually see my feet. And what we're going to do next is some side steps. So we're going to step, bring that foot across. Come here. Step, bring that foot across. Good. Step, across. So all the while, this trunk's really nice and stable. Good. We're going to step across and step, bring it back. Now we've done the walk on the spot. I'm just going to get my little list because I forgot to put it on in front of me. And the other thing we're going to do is some little taps behind us, So when we're standing, this will be our knee bend, but seated, we can do this as well. And then we've got our taps. So we're going to tap out and back. Good. Out and back. Out and back and out and back. We're going to go 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Okay. Bring it back. Have a little rest back in this chair. Take a deep breath in. Push that breath out. Prepare yourself. So for those of you who are happy to stand up, we are going to stand up. I'm going to put my little list there because I'm bound to forget what's on it. Yeah, just so you know, we are planning these sessions. And everything we do has got evidence to show it helps with balance and building leg strength. So lots of good evidence. And if any of you ever want to see any of that, just get in touch with me and I can send it to you, some of the results. So we're going to think about standing up first. So don't worry about turning your chair. I just want you to see where we're at. I'm going to get back into my working position. Now, if you're worried about balance when you get out of this chair, make sure you've got something you can hold on to that's sturdy. So a friend of mine at the moment has a frame. He's using his frame. And as he gets stronger, he's using one hand. And eventually, hopefully, he won't need that frame. So think about having something there that you can hold on to just in case. We are going to bring those heels underneath the knees. We're in that front half of the chair, and we're going to start with our hovers. So with those hands on the thighs, all we're going to do is, if we were about to get up, we're just going to see if we can push those feet into the floor, activate the bottom muscles on the thighs. Good. Now you may find you can go further. You may find you can go there. You may find you don't leave the chair, but don't worry, because what's happening is these muscles are firing up, and the stronger they get, the more you'll be able to lift that bottom off the chair. Should we do 3 more? Yeah, let's do it. Make sure you breathe out. If that's too much, just sit tight, wait for the next bit. And that's the same with all these exercises. If anything gets too much, just sit tight, wait for the next one. Just gently move your feet. Whew! Let's take some little taps forward, shall we? So those legs have really had to move. Those muscles have had to fire up. So that's what we call strength work. And if we want to see an improvement in our leg strength, we need to do exercises like that, probably 2 or 3 times a week. Twice should be able to do it, but if you want to see a real improvement, maybe 3 times. And that's all you need to do, okay? Now, let's think about standing up. So we're back in that position, chest lifted. If you need, you can place those hands on the front of the chair, give yourself a little push. We're going to say 3, 2, 1. We're going to stand up and then gently move those feet before you do anything else. We're going to look straight ahead. Make sure we feel balanced. Make sure we feel okay. Now, if we're going to move to the back of the chair, we need to move feet first. So we're going to make as many steps as we feel comfortable to turn. Many steps as we feel comfortable to turn. We're going to move to the back of this chair. Good. We're going to move to the back of this chair. Hopefully you haven't got a sloping roof like me. So I'm going to move this chair forwards so you can see me now. Now, once we're at the back of the chair, you can use it for support, or you can decide whether you want one hand or no hands. But whatever happens, you've got it there just in case. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to turn to face you. I'm going to pretend that my chair is here. I'm going to move this out the way ever so slightly. Good. How are we feeling? Keep those feet gently moving. Now we're standing. Let's still think about that nice long spine. So we want that space between the ribs and the top of the pelvis. We tend to shorten that gap. That's modern life for you. But what we're going to try and do is really open it up. Bring those feet down. Now, let's see if we can take those little taps out to the side. So I'm holding onto my imaginary chair, and then you can see your feet. If I had my chair there for real, with my hands there, you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm holding on with 2 hands, and I'm going to tap and in. Good. Tap and in. I'm tapping and in and tapping and in. Notice I'm not tapping and leaning. So try and make sure you've got that long line from here to the top of your head, and the legs are moving on their own rather than you having to move in the opposite direction. This is going to help with our balance. Good. So we're just tapping out and in. Good. Tapping out and in. Good. Let's just do a few more of these. It's almost like a diagonal tap. We're going to do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now I'm going to turn. You stay facing forwards. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm going to do next. I'm going to hold onto my chair, and I'm going to just lift these heels behind me. So there's a little knee bend. If your knees get very sore, just keep those feet fairly low. Don't be tempted to overswing it. But we're just going to bend these knees, and we're working those muscles in the backs of the legs. Good. All right. So that's fantastic. So squeezing those heels behind us. Using that chair now, if you choose to use one hand or no hands, you could add a little pulse of these arms behind you. 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it down and just gently move those feet. Breath in, breath out. You might find your breath is coming a little bit faster, which is good. But if it's coming so fast that you can't speak, just calm it down a little bit, settle it down. Now, oh, the glamour of the dog scratching himself. So we've got our chair. What we're going to do next is we're going to do some side steps. So small steps to your right. We're going to step, bring this foot across. Step, bring this foot across. You're disgracing yourself, Stan. Step across and step across. Now, again, you can take one hand away, step. You can take both hands away. You might find you can add that chest press. Good. Step across. You might just want to hold on and feel comfortable. The leg movement is the most important. So it's only if you've got this one nailed, do you add the arms. Otherwise, we tend to add arms and no legs. Good. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, come back behind your chair. Gently move those feet. I'm pointing at the dog. He's just barking at me, so we're going to ignore him. Good boy. Not. All right, then. We're going to go through all those things again. So we're standing tall. We're going to start with those little taps to the side. Is that okay? So I'm going to pretend I'm holding onto my chair. If you're happy to let go, we can add a bicep curl. Okay? Let's go. Let's tap and in. Good. Tap and in. Tap and in and tap and in. Good. So we've got a nice bit of rhythm going. Really nice rhythm. We're keeping that strong trunk. Good. We're working on our stamina in this section. So when you're doing your daily activities, you'll be able to do them a little bit easier. Your heart and lungs are going to be stronger as a result. Good. And one more, bring it in. Now we're going to walk on the spot. So we're just gently moving those feet. Now this is a very, very small movement. This is designed to help you recover between the taps. Okay, now if you feel comfortable, if you find you can make it a little bit more active, we're going to get those arms moving a little bit, lift those knees a little bit more, keep that chest lifted. We're going for that brisk walk. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Hold on to that chair. Just one heel at a time, keep those feet moving. Just gently make sure the calf muscles are pushing that blood back up to the head and the heart. That's it. That means we won't feel dizzy. Well done. Is that breath coming a little bit faster? Yeah, mine too. All right, now bring those heels down. I'm going to turn to face you because this is the best angle for you this time. We're going to take those side steps. So I've got my chair step together. Now, when I say together, make sure we tend to bang the feet. That's a real trip sort of hazard. So make sure we leave a little gap between those feet. This time, we're going to imagine there's a little step to the side of us, and we're going to step and bring that foot over. So it could be in the garden, there's just a little rock that you're always having to step over. Sometimes the doors, they've got that lip and you have to step over them. So imagine you're having to step over it sideways. Good. We're going to do 3. Lovely. 2. Excellent. And last one. Good. You'll notice those hips really having to work. So let's just move those feet gently. And then last little exercise, we're going to just pick those heels up behind you. Good. So you can hold onto that chair. If this doesn't suit you, you can tap behind you. Okay, you can tap to the side. You can walk on the spot. Good. Those feet just a little bit wider than that. So make sure they're hip width apart or a bit wider. Good. That's it. We're going to do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Ooh, wow, well done. So just gently move those feet, roll those shoulders, because you might have felt a bit tense doing that, particularly if you're having to concentrate. So just relax those shoulders. And remember, if you need to sit down at any point, you can do these exercises seated. The next section is less about stamina. We're going to be thinking now about your balance. So when we walk, if you think about it, this is me walking in slow motion. Okay, so we're always on one leg, aren't we? We're always on one leg. So to be able to walk safely and feel comfortable, we're going to work on our ability to transfer our weight from one leg to the other. And that's all this is going to do. So we're going to start off with that wide base sway. So again, you can do this one seated if you need to. We're going to create a wider base than normal. So if this is hip width apart, we're going to take those feet a little bit wider and we're just going to soften those knees. So if this is those knees on lock, we're going to just gently soften them, take them off lock. Good morning, Thomas Tag. I've got a 13-year-old there, so Sam's been barking at me. All right, now, what we're going to do is just take the weight into your right leg. So you might notice that the heel of your left leg comes off the floor. That's okay. And then we're going to take your weight into your left leg. So we're just going to transfer that weight. Now, take your awareness into your head and your trunk. So if you were looking at yourself in a mirror, this wouldn't be happening. This is what tends to happen. People see that transfer and they do that, which makes you feel dizzy. So we want the legs to do the work. So I'm going to show you from this angle. Notice what happens. This heel is coming away from the floor. If you make the movement bigger, I'm taking that little knee bend, but the knee's bending in line with that second toe. Right then, let's just gently bring those feet back in, walk it out. And then we're going to move into it again. So are we ready? Shoulders relaxed, knees soft. We're going to take the weight into that right leg, into the left. So you've got that chair for balance if you need it. Now, if you feel comfortable, you might take one arm away. You might take both arms away, but make sure you feel safe. Safety is the number one. Now, if you're comfortable either with one arm or with those two arms, we're going to take those arms side to side. Notice what's happening with these core muscles here. You can feel those abdominals working. You can feel the back muscles working, the leg muscles working. Everything's working. Keep it down if you're not sure about balance. We're going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Just walk those feet back in to hip width apart. We're going to take that little pedal. So I'm turning to the side so you can see my heels. You can stay facing forwards. Now, bring those heels gently down. The next thing we're going to do is both heels together. So this is another balance challenge because we're going from the whole foot into part of the foot. So you've got a smaller surface area to stand on. So hold on to that chair, lift those heels up, hold it for a second, slowly back down. Good. Let's do that again. Lift those heels up, hold for a second, slowly back down. Now, only if you feel comfortable do you take one arm away. Good. Focus on a fixed point in the distance. Slowly back down. And you can take one finger at a time away from that chair. That index finger is the last. If you feel comfortable doing both without support, you can do that. If you need that support, keep it there. Should we do 4 more? So we're going to go up, hold, slowly back down. Good. Watch out for that. Okay, sometimes we do that. Really make those calf muscles work. Good. Slowly back down. 1 more. Up, hold, slowly back down. That's a big strength builder. And then we'll just gently move those feet. Well done. Well done. How challenging did you find that for balance? It's the hold that's the challenge, isn't it? Yeah, I was like it too. Now, I'm just checking. So this we usually do in the strength section, but I want us to just do things differently because everything we do requires balance and requires strength. So we're going to take this feet hip width apart and we're going to just use this chair. Now, all we're going to do is imagine we're picking something off the floor. So basically, we're doing the sit to stand or the squat movement, but we're just imagining there's something in front of us. So I don't want you to think, I'm just going to get something. This is my little briefcase. I don't want you to pick something off the floor directly. I want us to keep that back tall, as if maybe we're getting a shopping bag, using those legs to pick it up. So you don't actually have to pick anything, but I want you to imagine it's a sort of bag for life shopping, and you're just going to hold onto the chair with one hand, glue those heels to the floor, keep that back nice and strong, pick it up. So the bag's quite close to your feet. We're going to do that again. Keep that chest lifted, pick up that bag using the glutes and the thighs. Yeah, using the bottom muscles. Knees in line with that big toe. Good. One more on this side. Good. Now, let's change the hand that we hold on with. So this time, the band that was picking up, the hand that was picking up becomes the support with the chair, and we're going to imagine picking up here. Good. We're going to bend, pick up. Brilliant. We're going to bend, glue those heels to the floor, pick up. Good. So we're just gripping that bag. The legs are doing the work. Superb. Walk it out. Ooh, roll those shoulders, my friends. How are we doing? You okay? Yeah, I think I'm just about okay. This is hard work today, isn't it? I can really feel everything firing up. So, last but not least, let's do that standing on one leg. So I'm just going to move my briefcase out of the way so you don't have to watch me doing that. Notice, nice long back, putting it down using the legs. Right. So we're going to see if we can use this chair and we're going to stand on one leg. So for the purpose of today, I'm just going to hold on with one hand so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to turn so you can see. I'm going to basically lift one foot away from the floor. Now, this is what it looks like here. I'm going to hold on to that chair. Let's have a look. We're going to stand nice and tall. So imagine you had a puppet string. Oh, what's happened here? Are we still there? Are we still in? I noticed a connection thing. All right. I've had it fixed, so it shouldn't be connecting. Right, let's go back to that one-legged stand. So imagine you've got a cup of tea on your head, and we're going to look straight ahead, hold onto that chair, slowly but surely bring that foot off the floor. So we're pushing this supporting leg down into the floor. We're going to say 3 and 2. Now, if you can, guys, we're going to slowly bring that foot forwards in front of you. 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. Now I'm going to show you from a different angle so you can see this angle. So we're going to stand nice and tall. This time with the leg, you're going to lift that foot off the floor. Now push that supporting leg into the floor. Look at that fixed point in the distance. We're going to say 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to bring that foot in front of us. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. And bring it down. Good. Should we do that on both legs again? Should we give it? Let's try it. All right then. So again, standing nice and tall. Good. You might find you have to imagine you're doing up a tight pair of trousers. So draw your tummy button in. We're going to bring this foot behind us. We're going to say 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot in front of you. Oh. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Sam's barking, counting us in. Ignore him. Good. Now, here we go. Other leg. Hold on to that chair. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot in front. 3, 2, 1. And bring it down. All right. Roll those shoulders. That is our balance section. Tick. Now let's just check the time. I want to make sure we're finished on time today, because I know that for a lot of us there's a minute silence at 12 o'clock, and I want to make sure that you're well rested and able to do that if you're wanting to. So from behind your chair, we're going to bring ourselves to the front of the chair. So we're just going to step to the side you want to come to. We're going to move those feet. Bring yourself to the front of that chair. So when we're sitting down, we tend to sometimes just want to sit down before we're actually at the point we can. So feel for that chair on the back of the legs. Make sure you're evenly placed. And if you think it's safe, lower yourself down under control. Good. Relax. That was a tip-top first part of the session. To be honest with you, we've got 15 minutes left. And 5 of those will be stretching and cool down. So I've got one thing I want to show you while you're resting back. And this is something that I've been promising to do and I keep forgetting. I'd like to show you how to get up after a fall. So just in this recovery time, I'm going to ask you to have a little look at what I'm doing. I'm going to turn my chair and I'm going to sort of just get you to imagine that I found myself on the floor. I've had a little trip. I found myself on the floor and this is where I am. Okay, so I'm just hoping you can see. I'm on the floor. So that the main thing is what I'm going to do is just not panic. I'm going to take my time, just check and see if I think I've got any injuries. I think I'm okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arm strength. I'm going to bring this arm in and I'm going to push myself up. So I'm here. So this is what we do the chest press for. Then I'm going to look and see if there's something around. There we go. There's a chair that I think I can help myself up on. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring my knees underneath my body. So I'm in a kneeling position. And then I'm going to see if I can make my way to the chair. So this might take time. I might need to have a little rest in between. But once I get to that chair, I'm going to come nice and close. I'm going to place one hand, then the other hand on this chair. Breathe out, relax. So I've got my chair. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is think which is my strongest leg. So I know this is my strongest leg. I'm going to bring it here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. My foot is there. I'm going to move the chair a bit so you can see a bit better. And then I'm going to tuck this toe under and I'm going to use my arm strength. I'm going to use my leg strength and this back leg. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. We're going to drive. And then I'm going to walk myself back up. Turn myself so I can feel that chair on the back of my legs. Slowly bring myself into that seated position. So you can see why we do some of the things we do. We do the press up with the band to increase your arm strength. We do lots of leg strength just so it's very, very functional. And I just hope by seeing that, it gives you some ideas as to how you might help yourself if you hopefully never find yourself in that position, but just in case. Right then, have you had enough rest? Good. Grab your band. Let's get back into that working position. Let's do it, shall we? And we're going to bring the band around our backs. And I was talking about the importance of that chest and arm strength. So we're going to work on it. Now, relax the shoulders. We're going to hold onto the band like that. So you've got a nice strong wrist. And what we're going to do, sitting nice and tall in our working position, we're going to push the band away from the chest. Slowly bring it back. So if we slow it down on the way back, it helps increase the strength work. So shall we see if we can do 10? Find a resistance that you think you can do 10. And we're going to make sure we breathe out. And we're going to breathe in. I'm just going to turn ever so slightly so you can see. Breathe out. and in. Good. This is going to keep your arms strong, shoulders strong, chest muscles strong. And because we're sitting nice and tall, we're not letting the band pull us. Your core muscles, your abdominals are going to be strong. Breathe out and in. Good. Breathe out and in. Good. I've forgotten. I've lost count. Norma, what are we on? Breathe out and in. Last one. And slowly back in. Good. Now, while we're in this position, what I'm going to get you to do is glue those elbows in arms. Good. This is a nice little exercise for the back of the shoulders. So imagine I put a 50-pound note between your elbow and your trunk and your body, and you don't want it dropping out because someone's going to take it if they do. Good. So this is just getting the backs of the shoulders nice and strong. Good. Now, last one, we're going to go back to that chest press, okay? We're going to do 5. So you ready? 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Hold it there just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, wow. Those arms are going to be able to do anything if we carry on in that vein. Roll those shoulders. Okay, let's bring that band away from your back. And we're going to do a little bit more leg strength. Okay, so hold either end of the band, either end of the band. And we're going to place one foot into that band. So I'm just going to turn so you can see. Don't feel you have to turn as well. Just stay facing me. So I've got that foot in the band. I'm going to walk the hands down. And then I'm going to sit up nice and tall. So there's a bit of resistance to work against, okay? Now let's lift that foot just a small distance away from the floor. Settle those at the top of the thigh so we can relax the shoulders. And then we're going to push against the resistance on that band and bend that knee in line with that second toe. So 10 and 9. Good. If you find your knees don't like this, don't lock the knees out. Just take them so that there's a little bit of softness in that knee joint, but don't take it all the way. Good. And make sure we don't snap the knee anyway. Good. We're going to go 5. Push. Slowly back. 4. Slowly back. The slower back, the harder it is. 3. Breathe out. 2. Sit nice and tall still. And 1. Now hold it there. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1. Little pulse. 3, 2, 1. And release. Brilliant, guys. Brilliant. Just take that band off and give those legs a little shake. Good. Should we do the same on the other leg? Let's do it. Let's do it. We need balance, don't we? Keeping an eye on this time. So we're going to walk the hand down, find that resistance, sit nice and tall. Remember, we're in our working position. So if we sit too far back, the leg and the thighs get cut by the seat of the chair. Now, lengthen away from center. Good. Just making sure I'm sat comfortably. Good. There we go. 10 and 9. Slowly back. How slowly back can you go? 8. Brilliant. Make sure that knee's bending in line with that second toe. Breathing out, breathing in. This is such a great leg strength exercise. So this and those hovers and the sit to stands are my favorites. And if you can do this an extra time as well as in class, you'll really see the difference. Okay, let's go 2 more and 1. Now hold it there for 3, 2, 1. We're going to do a little pulse. 3, 2, 1, and then release. Ooh, good work. Fantastic. Move those feet. Move those feet. Okay, my friends. Roll these shoulders. One little exercise. Scoop. We're going to just do that upper back strength. So little row for 10. Okay. Palms facing up. Squeeze those elbows behind you. Good. We're going to go 7. Good. Come on, we can do it. 6. Make sure those elbows stay nice and close to the trunk. 5. Good. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Whoo! Roll those shoulders. Okay, I'm going to place my bands on the back of the chair. Shake those arms out. Give those feet a little shake. And let's circle those wrists. Let's circle those wrists one way. Whoo, let's circle those wrists the other way. Should we do that again? It's just a nice way of getting some flowing movement into those arms. Lovely. Okay. Now I'm going to get you just to lift one foot, circle that big toe one way, circle that big toe the other way. Is anyone clicking? Is it just me? I don't know if you remember, Norma, in our class, sometimes someone will go, who's clicking? And it was always me. Sometimes Victoria, sometimes Rachel, if they were there. All right, and then just slowly lifting those knees. Now, we're going to just make sure we're in that working position. I shall turn and show you from an angle again. Okay, so you stay facing forwards. I'm going to take one foot out. So this is where we get a stretch for the calf muscles. We're going to sit nice and tall. And then when you feel ready, little hinge at the hip. So keep that back nice and long and feel that stretch down the back of the straight leg. Breathe out. And then gently bring it up. Good. We'll just wiggle those toes a little bit. Do the same on the other side. So we'll start sitting nice and tall. And then as you breathe out, hinge at the hips. Bring that thigh stretch in. Great stuff. Great stuff. Ooh, feels better than it did at the start, I always think. And then come all the way up. Great. All right, let's roll those shoulders. And as you relax the shoulders down, bring those hands towards the back of the chair. We'll sit nice and tall. Squeeze those shoulder blades gently together. Look straight ahead. And this is that stretch that means the front and the shoulders and the chest just get a chance to open up. And then we'll just swing those arms. Good work. All right, last little stretch, and then we're going to let you finish up. So we're going to take that same hand, same shoulder, walk this hand over that shoulder, reach down. So if that's your limit, that's fine. Just find your stretch point, and then we're going to take the supporting arm, place it on that point between the elbow and the shoulder, and gently push that elbow up to the ceiling. Good. And then we're going to gently release. Just roll those shoulders. Let's do the same on the other side. So we're going to take the right hand onto the right shoulder, walk that hand over the shoulder, gently push that elbow towards the ceiling. Good. That's great, guys. And breathe out, release, and a little roll. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to take these feet a little bit wider. We're going to sit nice and tall, and this time we're going to reach up with this arm. You can hold onto the side of the chair. Just gently lift that rib cage. Breathe out. Good. And breathe in. And we'll do the same on the other side. So breathing in, breathing out. Keep both sitting bones on that chair. And come back. Great stuff. And then we'll roll the shoulders. Bring those feet back. We're going to take one sitting bone at a time, back into that chair and relax. Job well done. That was a really super session, guys. Lots of stuff going on there. So I'm going to turn and face you. We'll finish with some relaxed breathing. So I'm going to get you to just take those hands onto the thighs and picture your lungs. Picture your lungs. If you like, you can take your hand onto your chest and just imagine breathing in through your nose, breathing into your hand. And then breathing out through your mouth. And then we're going to move this hand down to your belly button. Just imagine breathing in a little bit deeper, pushing that breath out through the mouth. So we're breathing into that hand. You might notice that your tummy moves out as you breathe in. And as you push that breath, comes back. And then we'll let that hand relax. Just a really nice way to finish the session. So, my friends, we'll wiggle those toes, wiggle those fingers, and make sure you have a drink just to rehydrate. Those muscles work off being hydrated. Hope you found that session okay. Get in touch if you've got any questions. And sorry about the dog. Yeah, he just had that glint in his eye. I thought he's in trouble, but he's calmed down. Have a great rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Signing out. Well done.